Yo, what's going on, party people? Listen, if you're a beginner to YouTube, or maybe you're just starting a podcast, or maybe you're a solo creator like myself and you do a lot of talking head videos, and you want to know what's going to be the best camera on the market, you're actually looking at it right now. I'm holding it in my hand. It's the Sony ZV-E10. And when you combine this with the Sigma 16mm f1.4, I think there's no better combination on the market right now that's going to be best suited for you to take your content game to the next level. So we're going to talk about it. Let's get into it. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. What do I love about the Sony ZV-E10? I mean, look at it. The size is perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have a compact studio space or office space or a desk and you don't have a lot of room, this right here is going to be perfect to actually put at your desk. You know what I'm saying? So right off the gate, I just love the size of it. Big things come in small packages. Pause. Yeah, this is going left already. Let's go ahead and continue. The second thing I love is the image quality. I mean, look at me. I look so good. Like, I mean, you're getting this stunning 4K image right now. And when you combine it, you know what I'm saying, with the smoothness of the 16mm, you know what I'm saying? And you get that creamy bokeh, where you get that shallow depth of field of, you know, I'm in focus and everything else behind me is kind of blurred out. I mean, listen, I don't think there are a lot of things that you can put up against, you know, the Sony ZV-E10 that are going to look better than what you're getting right now. One of the best features of the Sony ZV-E10, which was the most welcome feature when this was released after the Sony ZV-1, was the fact that it has interchangeable lenses. So now I'm not just stuck with this one focal length, nor do I have to buy an adapter to try to get a wider shot. I can just switch out the lens, you know, in order to get the focal length and the look that I actually want. I mean, do y'all see the point yet? Like, are you not convinced that this is the best camera for beginners? Let's keep going. And you should already know the best thing about the Sony ZV-E10, practically the best thing about Sony, is that real-time eye autofocus, which you can see is working right now. I'm shooting at an aperture of f1.4, and the fact that I've got this super shallow depth of field and the mic is really kind of on the plane right in front of my face. The dopest thing is that eye autofocus that you can see right here is actually helping me stay in focus, so you can continue to be focused on my beautiful face and not necessarily the mic or any item that I may put in front of the camera. Now, I know I'm gonna get some trolls or just some very nosy, or I'm gonna say curious people in my comments that are gonna say, wait a minute, Walt, in that last clip where you were recording your viewfinder, you weren't in 4K, so what's the deal with that? Listen, just so you know, you actually can't display the HDMI information while you're currently in the XAVC 4K mode on the Sony ZV-E10. So I had to go back down to 1080 in order to show you that feature, but it works in 4K as well. So y'all get off my video talking crazy, but let's just move on to the next thing. Of course, we're talking about beginners, so I think probably the most important thing that I love about this camera, you know, lens combination is the price. At the time of recording this, brand new, you can get the body for $698, and you can pretty much get the lens for around $399, so pretty much $700 and $400 respectively. But here's the beautiful thing, it has been out since 2021. The used market, you know, depending on what platform you actually trust for that, you can usually get a body from between, you know, anywhere. I've seen as low as $400. They have gone up in popularity as of late, so usually you can probably expect to see around $475 to $525 range for, you know, good body that's still in great shape. The Sigma, you know, 16mm though, it's been out forever. It's an OG, so you should be able to find that, you know, from $200 to $250 easily. So I mean, at that price, that's a hard bargain. I mean, we're talking about still coming in around $700, you know, for a beginner setup. I mean, you tell me what other combination you can beat with that and still get the level of quality that I'm giving to you now. All right, well, I mean, you've talked about everything that's so great, and I've left out a whole lot of things, other beautiful things about the camera. But one of the things I will tell you that you should be concerned about, the Sony ZV-E10 does have a propensity to overheat because it has the old, those MP Sony style batteries that really, I'll just be glad when they get rid of completely. But that's why it's sitting at my desk. So I'm gonna use something like a dummy battery. If you remember when I was doing like my studio tour, my desk setup. You kind of saw that cable hanging down from the battery side of the Sony ZV-E10. That is actually a dummy battery, and anything I'm mentioning, camera, accessories, cables, all of that, all the links are down in the description. You can charge it over USB, but the thing is, I would not do that, because once you put the camera, the battery in the camera, it still is going to get hot. So the dummy battery is just plastic, it's cold, it's not gonna generate any heat. And like I said, I've left my camera running overnight by accident on many occasions, where I forget to turn it off after a late night, stream or production session, as long as 7, 8, 9 hours. Come back the next morning.
Am I still streaming?
Sit down, I won't even turn it off and turn it back on. I jump right back into recording the video. So yeah, definitely, if there's one thing, there's one caveat I would say, downside to the Sony ZV-E10, that's pretty much it. Now, if you go to Sony's website and you look up the Sony ZV-E10, you will see they actually categorize this as a vlogger's camera, which I disagree with. And I agree with the premise of when the camera came out in 2021. It was at the height of the pandemic. The Sony ZV-1 was kind of failing, and it was like, well, not necessarily failing, but of course we wanted those interchangeable lenses, so we could do something different. It's not like people were vlogging with it, because a lot of us really couldn't go outside. So we were doing what we're doing now. If you were vlogging, you were just kind of walking around the house or your own front yard, but you pretty much were probably sitting at your desk in front of a computer and a camera just like this now. And so I don't think that this is going to be best for vloggers. If you're a vlogger, I think the best thing you need to be buying right now is the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I think it knocks everything else out of the park. Of course, with something like this, with a much larger sensor, probably some more dynamic range, with the lens, you're going to be able to get more out of it, but nobody wants to be walking around like this anymore, where you can take something as small and inconspicuous as an Osmo Pocket 3. So yeah, vloggers, yeah, I'm not gonna say this is the vlogger's camera. I get it. In context, back in 2021, it definitely was. But Sony, update your information, because I would say this is the primary creator's camera, but vlogging camera, nah. I couldn't recommend this to vloggers. But the rest of y'all, solo podcasters, webinar, workshops, talking head videos, tutorials like I'm doing right now, definitely Sony ZV-E10. I think that's who this is going to be best suited for. Now, rumor has it that, the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II is expected to drop. Sony is expected to release that somewhere around the early fall, end of summer, August timeline. And I've been talking to a lot of my content creator peers who love the Sony ZV-E10, who are thinking about getting into this particular space as it relates to camera, but they're like, yo, the Mark II is about to come out. So the real question is, should you wait? Here's the thing. What can we pretty much expect from the Mark II? I mean, just looking at the rumor mills, of course, probably the 26 megapixel sensor that you're getting from the A6700. A lot of people are talking about 4K 120. Realistically, don't think it's going to happen. It's probably still going to be 4K 60, which is, a welcome addition. And then the biggest thing is probably that 422, 10-bit, color space, and the addition of S-Cinetone. I think the last thing, those are the only things that's really worth it. I'll probably end up getting the camera because I just love the series. And that's something I may actually use more in production, because I have, even though I wouldn't recommend this to vloggers, I have used my original Mark I Sony ZV-E10 in production, whether I'm doing live stream production or podcasts, for other clients, or actually using this at church, where I've even rigged it up. You know what I'm saying? That's why you kind of see it where I have a cage on it, where I've kind of rigged this up with the monitor handle, even the Hollyland 400S Pros, to do some wireless transmission. And I haven't had any problems whatsoever. So again, me upgrading to the Mark II would probably just be some gas gear acquisition syndrome, or just to really kind of add another camera to the arsenal. But if I'm sitting at a desk, again, I don't need 4K 60. You know what I'm saying? I don't need 26 megapixels sitting here right in front of you. So should you wait? I think the only reason you should wait is if you want to see if the price is going to go down any further, because a lot of people are probably going to be selling their ZV-E10s or trading them in to go ahead and try to get that Mark II. But other than that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is still not just the best camera for beginners, but I mean, if you're an experienced content creator like myself and I'm looking for a camera to purchase, I'm probably going to save the money, not because I'm going cheap, but because best bang for your buck, best value. I don't think you can get any better than the Sony ZV-E10 comboed and compared and put in combination. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about right now, but paired with something like the Sigma 16mm, I really don't think it gets any better than that. With all that being said though, I want to know, what do you think? I mean, do you think it's worth the wait for the Mark II to come out? Or do you agree with me that the Sony ZV-E10 is going to be the best value for you, the best camera for beginners and experienced creators in 2024? Let me know down in the comments. Let's discuss. Are you going to wait for the Mark II? What are you looking forward to most with the Sony ZV-E10 Mark II? Or are you using anything else? But you know, if you found any value, if you want to see more Sony specific content or more content about the ZV-E10, let me know down in the comments, and you can let me know even further by liking this video, clicking the subscribe button, and also hitting that bell so you can be notified every single time I post more ZV-E10 content to my channel. That'll go a long way in helping me know what other videos I definitely do need to create. But until the next time, I catch you guys in one of the videos you see playing on your screen right now.